Well, it is that time again where we get together and have a little chat. It's the Healthy Handbag with myself, Paddy Cunningham. Hope you are keeping well. I know, look at me, another episode so soon after the last one, but I did promise that I was going to do my best to get things out a little bit more frequently. Thinking about a few things as well, maybe about rebranding the podcast name and stuff like that, but we'll see. Tell you more about that in a moment. Well, since the last podcast, what have we done? Got to catch up with some friends, which was lovely. Got to go back doing some sea dips, which is just amazing. Like, honestly, if you've never got to go for a dip in the sea, and I'm here in Ireland on the west coast, right? And the water wouldn't be the warmest. It is Ireland and it is the Atlantic. But it is just so good for the mind. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Might actually do something about that in a future podcast. But anyway. Today, here I am in the west of Ireland. It is dull. It's a bit dreary. But you know what? As I was saying the last time, this is where we look for little moments of joy, things that make us smile, and essentially looking for our own little bit of sunshine in the day, huh? And I have to say, a lot of that recently for me have been silly memes that are getting sent back and forth between friends. Particularly those ones where it's like where you have friends that you might not speak to for like maybe a couple of months, only through memes. Like that's the only thing you might get, and then like every few months you might actually talk on the phone. So a lot of life and connection with friends is just by slagging via the memes online, or the memes, depending on what you call them. Anyway, as I say, this is the Healthy Handbag. It's Paddy, and we bring you a little bit of entertainment, inspiration, motivation, and sure, whatever else we find along the way. So today, what I wanted to take a few moments to talk about is, I guess, the importance of attitude and choosing your attitude, okay? So I remember many, many years ago when I lived in England and worked in England, there was training that I used to deliver to people, and it was kind of called, it was about choosing your attitude, but it was based on this company, I think it was in Seattle, I could be wrong with that, but where it was a fishmonger's, and a job that could seem very repetitive. It's a tough job. You're up very, very early. Obviously taking the fish in off the boats and all that kind of stuff. And a job that a lot of people might seem as being maybe a bit mundane and, as I say, repetitive and stuff like that. But yet the group of people that were working there were so highly motivated. And this was kind of the basis for the idea of choosing your attitude. And what does that mean? So it's something that's kind of stuck with me a lot since those days. That's going back maybe, oh crikey, could be like 16, 17 years, I can't remember. But when we think about it, when something happens, the majority of the time we will have a gut reaction and we'll just kind of go with that, as opposed to stopping, actually processing whatever it is that is happening, thinking about it logically, and then kind of deciding, okay, how is it that I'm going to react to this? Or what is my attitude to this thing? So in that environment where I was training people in the kind of work space, that's what it was. That, you know, at the start of a day, when you're getting ready and you're preparing to go to work, or indeed just go out into the world, whatever it may be, that all of us have that opportunity whereby we can choose what attitude is it that we are going to take towards the world, towards work that day. We can live in a place whereby we just go through the motions and we accept whatever comes our way and we are reactive to it, and that might mean that we get grumpy or moody or upset or annoyed, and all of those are completely valid kind of emotions and feelings. It's not to say we shouldn't feel like that, but it's more so that there can be things that happen in life or that are going on in life, and we can let them live rent-free in our brains for way too long, and we can give them the control over how we are feeling without actually kind of being like, hey, I'm going to take the reins here. I am choosing how I am going to react to this and how I am taking ownership of this situation. that can mean that at times you'll be in situations that you might not be able to influence the specific situation, but you can influence how you think about it and how you react to it and talk about it and the kind of self-talk that you give yourself about it. And it's that bit that is so important. So for example, say I don't know, if there's stuff going on at work that maybe is making you feel a little bit not as kind of in tune with, the way you'd like to be with work, or with any kind of situation, okay? You can choose, okay, I'm going to live in this kind of place of self-pity and wallowing and kind of just, bring the other people that are around me into that kind of frame of mind as well, and just live in that space. Or you could kind of get up and be like, do you know what? This is the way things are. I cannot change A, B, or C. So kind of on the back of that, how is it that I'm going to choose to react to it and choose the attitude that I display to this event or situation or whatever it is that might be happening? And that can be so powerful, because you are then taking back the control of how your mind is behaving and thinking about that particular situation. Now, I think it's really important to call out here as well that obviously we will have people that may be suffering with their mental health. And I'm not trying to say for a moment that if you're somebody that is suffering with anxiety or depression or stuff like that, that you can just hop out of bed and choose your attitude. We know that's not the reality. And that's where in those situations, absolutely, we should be leaning on our kind of health professionals to help us through those moments. But in terms of people who have, say, normal day-to-day kind of cognitive and mental well-being, that's the kind of place that I'm talking about, whereby you can choose at the start of the day, how is it I am going to get through this day in terms of things that come up, particularly the things that are not in our control. And I know that kind of circle of control is something that I've spoken about before, whereby when something happens, we can latch onto it and just let it live rent free in our mind, as I say. Or you can quickly assess, okay, this thing has happened. Am I able to change this in any way? Can I influence this in any way? If you can, brilliant. If you can't, that's where you need to be able to quickly try to get to a place of, okay, I can't control this. I mightn't like it, but I cannot control it. So therefore, I'm not going to let it live in my head. I'm going to draw a line under it. I'm going to choose my attitude about this particular thing, and I'm going to try and move forward. And I know that sounds an awful lot easier to do than the reality of when you try to do it, because we're humans. We are going to have feelings about things. We're going to have thoughts about things. But the more that we are intentional with actually checking in with ourselves and calling out ourselves, if we're not being intentional with trying to live in that kind of healthy, positive space, the more that we do that, the more that it becomes natural for us to be easily able to identify, okay, what's my thought about this? What's my attitude about this? Oh, okay, it's a little bit not where, it's not in a helpful place. What can I do to change that? Okay, maybe I just need to confirm something about it. Maybe I just need to talk to somebody about it, whatever the case might be. But take action so that you are in control of your attitude towards the thing. As I say, I think there is some books online that you can get, or in your local bookshop, you can order them. The Fish Philosophy, they're called, and they do different ones, like for life and for work and stuff like that. And they're a really, really easy read. And as I say, if you are looking for something in the work environment, they do a whole kind of pack that you can do, like a train the trainer pack for companies and stuff like that. And don't worry, this isn't sponsored or an ad or anything like that. It's more so just one of those things that's really stuck with me about choosing your attitude towards things at the start of the day. And I know, like, sometimes whether it's in groups that you're involved in or work or stuff like that, again, there can be this thing of, leave your personal life at the door and leave all the baggage at the door and come in and just show this version of yourself. And I think it's not about that either, because you do need to be able to be your true self day in, day out in all walks of life. But it is about, I guess, doing that in the most positive way that you can, and in a way that is supporting your mental health and supporting your positivity and your positive self-talk to yourself. Anyway, that is our little chat for today about choosing your attitude. As I say again, it is something that we practice, and that becomes a habit, and that over time becomes a little bit easier. But the key thing is about being intentional with what attitude is it that you're going to choose to go through that day with. Anyway, I did say that we were going to talk a little bit about the podcast name, actually. So at the moment, I've been calling it the Healthy Ham. Getting tongue-tied there. The Healthy Handbag. Thinking about changing the name of it and broadening the scope a little bit. So one of the things, actually, right, to choose my attitude after a little moment of moodiness was I've had the domain name ptpaddy.com for maybe 12, 13 years or something like that. And my email, info@ptpaddy, and everything had been associated with that. But through various reasons, I no longer have that domain and that email address. And when I first found that out, I was devastated and I got grumpy and I got moody and I was like, oh my God, this has been such a huge part of my life for the past kind of 13 years, that whole kind of PT Paddy piece. But after about, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 hours of kind of wallowing in my, oh my God, I've lost this, I said, okay, well, what's the opportunity out of this? I can continue to just wallow and feel sorry for myself, or I can choose the attitude of, okay, is this actually an opportunity to kind of rebrand the things that I'm doing, to look at what ways have I been identifying, even on social media and bits and pieces like that. So that's kind of currently where I am at the moment. So yeah, the email address info@ptpaddy is unfortunately gone. And whoever may have access to it now, I hope you're enjoying my emails. But anyway, it's a story for another day. But yeah, so if you do want to get in touch with me, info@paddycunningham.com. Nice and easy, just my name. info@paddycunningham.com will get you through to me. And until we chat next time, look after yourselves, look after your friends and your loved ones, and try a little bit more frequently to choose your attitude towards the situations and the days that you may be facing. As I say, I know it's easier said than done, but practice, I'm not going to say it makes perfect because it's not about perfection, but practice will definitely make it a bit more natural day in, day out. Anyway, from myself, Paddy Cunningham, take care and chat soon.